Hello, this is Dave Worthen. Today's mini-seminar is entitled Exit Wounds, Covert Invalidation Exposed. Okay, I'll be honest. This seminar pulls back the curtain on how certain people in society try to take you out by covertly undermining your strengths. And hopefully by listening to this, you'll be more aware and able to keep these people at a distance or out of your life altogether. Invalidation. When you read the word invalidation, it may produce an immediate emotion or sensation within you. It's almost as if you stepped upon an ancient Indian burial site. You feel the presence of something that makes you stop. Invalidation. See? At first it's this visceral feeling, and then comes a memory or picture. Invalidation comes from the word invalidate, which has as its root in the word invalid. And interestingly enough, invalid comes from two words. The key word being valid, from Latin validus, to be strong, to be right. So at the very root of this eerie feeling you get when you experience invalidation is actually a foundation of strength. It's why the verbal bullet of invalidation is often so shocking. It's a covert but direct shot at your strength. Bullet fun fact. I've mentioned in a previous seminar the analogy of the speed of a bullet. The seminar was about counterintention, and this analogy fits here even more so. Did you know that the speed of a bullet from a high-powered rifle travels faster than the speed of sound? This means the bullet hits you, and then you hear the crack of the rifle. Yes, this is why soldiers often look shocked when they look down and see they are bleeding. Being invalidated hits you the same. Wow, Christina, what did you do to your hair? I liked it when you wore it long. That bullet left the chamber and hit Christina, shredding her emotional euphoria about her new haircut. It happened so fast that only when her euphoria disappeared did she become aware she had been hit. As she drove home, at every single stoplight, she pulled down her vanity mirror and looked at her new haircut. She agonized over whether maybe she'd gone too far. The bullet never touched her head. It was aimed much lower. It was a direct hit at her heart. Did Steve like it? Did he not like it? Will others not like it? Maybe I was stupid to try something new. That's why you see soldiers bring their hand up from their bullet wound in their gut. They have to stare at their bloody hand to realize, fuck, I've been shot. Right. We're all family, right? Megan's brother, Jeff, comments with a piercing but covert jab that she doesn't make meatloaf as good as their grandmother. And even though Megan is made of pretty stout stock from the DNA of her family, graduated at the top of her class in college, and is a great cook, she felt the full tip of that full metal jacket enter and exit her soul. And why do these seemingly tiny remarks have so much power? Because they hit at the very foundation of every one of us, which is the strength and power of the human spirit itself. When someone takes a shot at the human spirit, it's a memory we can never seem to forget, no matter how often we clear our cache. If we are alert and not dogged by the stresses of life, we can often pick up or perceive the intent of the shooter. But the social veneer can be so slick that we can barely finish our sip of coffee when we feel the subtle, verbal bullet enter and stay lodged in our psyche. Jeff's remark catches Megan momentarily off guard because she's so caught up in preparing a delicious meal for her family who are in town visiting. While preparing the salad, Megan recalls an earlier similar memory from her brother Jeff that floats to the surface about quote-unquote her weight issues and how is her diet going. When they grew up, Jeff was always trying to take her out this way. As she prepares the family dinner, Megan acknowledges in her own way, "That didn't take me out, but I know I was grazed." Incoming. Incoming is often yelled out in war zones, alerting troops to take cover from an incoming missile that's not visible to the naked eye, but picked up on radar. Standing in line at Starbucks, there is no such point person to warn Christina. You may even find that the office banner can sometimes take a derogatory turn, and such a point person would be invaluable as you return to your desk and realize a covert missile landed right between your eyes. In the very DNA of the word invalidation is the communication that is saying, you are not valid. There is probably no more unsettling and direct hit than an attempt to unmock or make less valid the only thing that is valid, and that is the absolute presence of you as a spiritual being. You can have a driver's license that is expired and thus not valid. You can be informed that your voter registration is not valid. But the human spirit does not have an expiration date like those stamped on the side of a milk carton. The body may expire, but the validity of the human spirit is its utter invincibility. Your journey in the human body, however, has a liability. It has stored every single sniper shot about your looks or personality or performance. The original software was designed to warn you, but down through time it has become corrupted. Exit wounds, quote unquote, are not just captivating dialogue for CSI on TV. They are singularly unique memories which were not aimed at your weight, your hairstyle, or the car you drive. Those were only coordinates for the location. The verbal bullet is not guided by its trajectory. The bullet's trajectory is guided by another's intention. Be it in the boardroom or bedroom, we know this bullet. The resulting introversion of, am I good enough? Do I look okay? Or any introspection about your strengths is evidence of moments when we were nicked. There is no bloody hand to check for the wound, but only an instantaneous, searing thought we may not be valid enough. And if the presence of invalidation is persistent, the foundation of validus becomes weakened, hence invalid. And not to be melodramatic about it, but that is the goal of those who try to place that tiny red laser dot upon your forehead. When did the toxic people arrive? An increasing number of articles abound about distancing yourself from people who are toxic. When did these people arrive? When I was a kid, the only thing that had a skull and crossbones on it was the San Onofre nuclear plant in San Clemente, California. But honestly, have you ever walked away from a conversation with someone and felt a tad more introverted or not as enthusiastic as you were? You know, like this person looked and appeared normal, but damn, you walked back to your car and you wished you had worn a hazmat suit. There was unquestionably a radiation leak of covertly laced barbs in that quote-unquote social conversation. And it's interesting that this word toxic has seeped into the cultural consciousness because back at the OK Corral, you just shot the guy. But that's not so fashionable these days. Now you're somehow supposed to endure what you swear on a box of Pop-Tarts is the presence of someone you know who hides in the grassy knoll as a part of his social interaction in this culture. There is no such mandate for you to endure, but you must become more aware of their modus operandi. Invalidation is someone smiling while they hammer bamboo shoots under your fingernails while you live. Recognition of the covert and living proactively. The handling of the covert shooter or toxic personality will appear on memes that suggest you not hang out in the circles they frequent. It's sound advice, but not the full picture of these types. Listen, they find the successful. They live off the avant vital of those who have the life energy they do not. They are spiritual vampires masquerading as the guy in the cubicle next to yours. They are relatives and quote-unquote friends who just can't quite keep their covert language out of the conversation. You may even have become more acutely aware of this, so avoiding them is not always practical, but calling them out is. See, the operating basis for someone who is covert is to spike their conversation such that it makes good people like Christina spin. It is not until much later do they get back to their analytical capabilities and see whence the bullet came. And what about if they are right in front of you, or on your team at work, or in the social gathering over the weekend? At first you'll be incredulous over their covert remarks are not being challenged. But see, no one has come out and exposed them, so they just continue. I find when I get grazed that I look at this person directly and ask, "Hey Michael, you're not trying to make me wrong, are you?" I say it with certainty because it is a statement of fact with a question mark only for effect. See, it is what they are trying to do, but no one calls them out on it. And what do you think happens when you remove their army camouflage and expose them? Right. They categorically deny it. It's the ultimate in invisibility and irresponsibility. It comes out of their mouth, yet that's not what they meant. They then cowardly take themselves out of the conversation as they have been spotted. See, no one ever admits to be the shooter. It's not how they roll. We still don't know who shot JFK, see? But when you expose them, you gain back the power just by that act alone. They know you know. I've done this many times, and it works. They get quiet. Or like Michael, they will reply, "No, no, 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 not at all," with a spurious smile and backpedaling faster than Fred Flintstone. But this is too slick and too glib. So keep this in mind. Keep your own antenna up. Anyone who has an op basis to covertly disparage or weaken the strength of you or your mates have as their intention that you not see the incoming. What you have to grasp is that is their intention. If while you read this article you think it is a bit potent, I would understand. But honestly, it is only the tip of the iceberg. When Christina got home, she got a call from her daughter's school, which immediately takes her attention off the stress of her new haircut and on to her daughter's well-being. The school nurse informs Christina that her 5-year-old daughter, Alicia, was rushed to the hospital because she was found convulsing on the playground. In the sudden horror of that picture, Christina's adrenaline spikes, and near hysteria, she asks the nurse what happened. Seems the quote-unquote shooter decided that they would lay low lacing gummy bears with THC, too much for a 5-year-old body to handle. When the universe of gummy bears and THC arrive in the same package, I know one thing with certainty. The bullet's trajectory is guided by another's intention. When you feel an incoming, reach down into that unlimited validus reservoir of yours and fire back. Let them know that covert conduct is not happening on your watch. Okay, I know that was a bit much. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks very much for stopping by.